Konnichiwa, I'm John Hornick. Welcome to my Japanese Faves Food Wars series, where we'll make the dishes from the Netflix anime series, which is known in Japan as Shokugeki no Soma and in the US as Food Wars. Today's lesson is my version of Soma's decadent potato mixture wrapped in thick-cut bacon and roasted low and slow, with a sauce of butter, red wine, shoyu, mirin, and sake. The potato and the mushroom absorb the fat from the bacon, producing a umami bomb that I admit that I ate far too much of. I've stayed pretty true to Soma's recipe, except that I make individual sized portions, and I added garlic to my version. I use sweet onion, and I garnish with lemon. The show calls for sweet sake in the sauce. I believe they mean mirin. I use both mirin and dry sake in my version of the sauce. So let's start cooking. Okay, now the first step to make this dish is to heat our water for steaming the potatoes. Now I have a steamer pot here with some water in it and a steamer basket. I'm going to put the lid on it, put it on medium-high heat, bring it to a boil to generate steam so we can steam the potatoes. Now, this is not a hard dish to make, but it takes some time over the course of a day. We usually eat around 8 p.m., so I'm going to give you the times to do these different steps so that if you do it, you can have everything ready at 8. If you eat earlier, just scale everything back. So to be ready at 8 o'clock, you want to heat your water for steaming at about 2 p.m. Okay, next step, if you want to eat around 8 p.m., is to peel your potatoes, and then we're going to cut them into pieces. Okay, now here I have the potatoes. They've been peeled. Right now I'm going to cut them into 1-inch pieces. Okay, let's steam our potatoes, okay? We're going to let them steam until they are nice and soft. So I still see a little bit of bad area on this one piece here. I'm going to cut it off. There we go. Cover it up, let them steam until they're soft. Okay, the potatoes have been steaming about a half an hour. Let's see how they are. Okay, good. Very easy to pierce with a toothpick. All right, we're going to turn off the heat, and we're going to let these cool enough that we can handle them, okay? We don't want to be handling hot potatoes. You can put them in the fridge if you want to speed up the process, or you can just leave them out to cool. My time is about 3 p.m. Okay, now we're going to take our potatoes, which have cooled, and add the minced mushrooms and the minced sweet onion, and the minced garlic, we want to add some salt lightly, always adjust it later, and some freshly ground black pepper. Again, lightly, we can adjust it later. And then we're going to knead these until they are well mixed. All right, now let's taste it. And salt and pepper are just barely showing through, which is good. Remember, we're going to be wrapping this in bacon, which will add salt. And if you're curious about how much to mix it, we still have lumps of potatoes in here, okay? So it's well mixed, and some of the potatoes, since they were steamed, they were soft, and they kind of mashed a little bit, but we still have chunks of potatoes. That's what we're going for. Okay, now it is about 4 o'clock my time, and we are going to form these potatoes into loaves that are roughly the shape of a russet and the size of a russet. Now remember, we started off with 3 potatoes and we added some stuff to them, right? So we have more than we started with, and you're going to have to gauge about how much you might want to serve. This is a very rich dish, okay? So you probably don't want to serve something that's much larger than a baked potato would have been to start off with, right? So if you have more then make another one of these. Okay, so we're going to form it into something that's about the size of a russet potato. And we're going to do that with the rest of this mixture. I add a little bit that I had to the other two, so we have 3 that are about the same size. Now you can either serve 1 per person or 1.5 per person, depending on how hungry you are. Invite a 3rd person, have the 3rd one the next day. Something else I want to say about the ingredients is I gave you amounts on the description. Of course, the amounts are always just about, right? Because they're not set in stone. If you like more garlic, if you like a lot of garlic, add more garlic. If you don't want them to be as mushroomy, don't use as much mushrooms. If you like more onion, use more onion, okay? So you just want to have a taste that you like, okay? Now, we have here 3 of these potato-like things made with the potatoes and the onions and the mushrooms. Now we're going to chill these to firm them up. I'm just going to cover it with some plastic and chill these for about a half hour, 45 minutes to firm them up. And then we will go to the next step. Okay, now what you want to do is to heat your oven to 300 degrees. Okay, now it's time to wrap our potato in the thick cut bacon. Now, in the show, the character made a larger loaf and wrapped the loaf in several different pieces of thick cut bacon that they kind of overlapped a little bit. But we're making individual sized portions here, so I think we're going to be able to wrap each one with 2 pieces of thick cut bacon, one this way and one this way. And then we'll tie them. There we go. Now we'll do the others. Okay, the next step is to tuck our little rosemary pieces. They're about inch and a half long, okay? And that's fresh rosemary. And we're going to tuck them underneath the string. Then, if you have a lot of string hanging over the edge here, extra string, you can just cut those extra long pieces off. Okay, I've transferred our potatoes to a roasting pan on a rack, okay? So they're sitting on a rack in the roasting pan. We're going to put this into the 300-degree oven, and we're going to check it hourly. It's going to be done, it's 5 o'clock my time, it's going to be done sometime between 7 and 8. And, you know, we want them to be beautiful. We want the bacon to be kind of cooked and crispy, but not, you know, not dried out and overcooked. And it's going to depend upon how big you made your potatoes, how thick your bacon is, okay? So we can't predict in advance exactly how long they're going to take. It's going to take between 2 and 3 hours. Okay, so we're going to put these in the oven, 300 degrees. Okay, now we're going to make the sauce. Okay, we're going to start off with the red wine, Shoyu, Japanese soy sauce, Mirin, and sake. Stir that up. We want to put it on to medium heat, maybe a little bit higher than medium. We want to bring that to a boil, and after it comes to a boil, we're going to let it reduce by about half. Okay, we are at a boil. We're going to reduce the heat a little bit, so let it still boil, but a little bit more gently. We want to reduce the volume by about half. Okay, so we've reduced by about half, and I've also turned down the heat to low. And now we're going to swirl in the butter, okay? Now you can swirl it in like this. This is a good way to mix butter. You can use a spoon if you want. Help it out a little bit. Okay, let's taste it. That'll pair great with the potato and bacon. Okay, here we are. It was about 2 hours and 40 minutes to get it to the point where the bacon it's kind of crispy on the outside, but it's still moist in the fatty areas. So it's not it's not dry. And now what we want to do is cut away the strings. We also want to take away the rosemary because that's imparted flavor, but they dry out, and when they're dry like this, you can't really eat them. Now we're just going to drizzle with a little olive oil. This is really just to give them a little bit more of a sheen, okay? Okay, to plate up, we put one of the bacon wrapped potatoes on a plate. We're going to put some sauce around the bottom of it, and then we're going to garnish with a lemon slice. And there we have it. That's the bacon wrapped slow cooked potato from season 1 episode 1 of Food Wars. You can see photos of the final dish at my Instagram, which is @Chef's Apprentice, Cook Like a Pro. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.